Hey, what is up, peoples? How's it going this morning? I am gonna be changing my valve cover gasket on this 2001 Toyota Camry XV20. Alright guys, I don't know if you guys have seen my other videos, but again, what my advice is on this one before you get started is to use original OEM parts. I'm gonna tell you why. I've done this job before and I use an aftermarket part and it failed on me. I'm not gonna call out any manufacturers. That's not what I'm here for. All I'm saying is that use Toyota genuine parts. That's just my experience, and this is my disclaimer now. I am not a professional at this. I simply just know how to do some DIYs, and this is how I do it. The parts that I'm using today is number one, I'm changing the PCV valve. There's your part number right there. Original Toyota part right there. There you go. Okay. 12204-74030. That's that right there. PCV valve, positive crankcase ventilation. These are the grommets that I'm using. Original Toyota part. Valve cover gasket grommets. 90480. I believe that's a 30029. Double check your parts. But this is a 4-cylinder 5S FE motor XV20 Toyota Camry. And this is the valve cover gasket I am using. Toyota part number is right there. 11213-74020. And yeah, and I'm gonna show you guys how I do it. Again, do it however way you think you should do it, but what's happening here is that being that this engine is slanted towards the back, it started leaking right around there, and it's starting to drip on the bottom side. I mean, it's not making a mess. It's not at a point where it's dripping all over my driveway or my garage yet, but I don't want it to get to that. And at the same time, oil rots rubber, so anything that oil hits, touches, it's gonna make it dirty and it's gonna rot rubber. So that said, since I'm doing the valve cover gasket, I went ahead and drained my oil as well, and it's pretty much due, so I'm gonna kill two birds with one stone. I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright guys, with this to remove the PCV valve, I simply clamp this, push it back, and I push it this way. You don't want to grab these, although you can. You don't really want to, because you might snap or rip your hose, and you don't really want to do that. But another way you could do is go from the back. Sorry guys, I'm doing this one-handed, and push it back as well, and you can get the PCV valve off. Oh my gosh. And just push it back again. You know what, I'm gonna take it from the PCV valve itself, because I am gonna replace it, and so I don't risk damaging the hose. So I just get a flathead and get it right here in the back there, and I just pry it upward a little bit. That should break a seal, and then just kind of pull up. Alright guys, so I got it out. So you simply get the hose, wiggle it out, and look, just to let you guys know, I don't know if you guys know this, but to check to see if your PCV valve is out, you shake it. If you're hearing those little weights rattling, it's still okay. But since it's only a cheap, what, $7-8 part, I'm gonna change it already. And you're gonna reuse the same hose, so save that too. Next step, you just pull these guys out, grab it here, make sure you're careful, you don't want to damage it. Unclip that first, so that you don't have a hard time. Now, I don't know if you want to change your spark plug wires. I mean, mine are still okay, so I'm gonna just go ahead and reuse them. I mean, my car has 190,000 miles, and this car runs really good, so I don't see any problems here. I'm gonna just reuse them. Now you want to put them in order, the same how it's there. That one goes here, that one I put it there, so on and so forth, just so that you don't get it mixed up. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory because, sorry, again, I'm doing this one-handed, so it's a little bit tough to unclip. There you go. And you don't want to mix them up. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, so I don't think you'll get confused. Another thing you want to check to make sure that there's no oil on them. But since you're replacing the grommets, that shouldn't be a problem. Oh, and before I forget, you guys, you also have to remove this guy right here. Don't forget to remove him, so you can take the valve cover valve cover off. Okay, now that I removed the hoses, we have to take these bolts off now to get to the actual valve cover gasket, or to remove the valve cover. And also, you guys, make sure that when you have your PCV valve, that you also replace the grommet right here, because as you can see, some of the oil had come out in that area too. Not that big of a deal, but you still want to avoid all oil at all cost. Now, I'm pretty sure this is a 1.5 inch socket, or one and, you know, maybe like a 24 or 25. I have a 1 1/4 here, and it works, so that's what I'm going to use to remove this. So you just counterclockwise and to take them off. Alright guys, and that's how it looks when it's already off. And I just grabbed the oil cover and I kind of just break that seal that's on there. See? And then you lift it straight up. Alright guys, and once you take it off, these are the grommets again. These things still appear to be okay, but since I already bought them, I'm going to go ahead and replace them. They're just simply sitting on top of this, where the spark plug boot goes. So it's still fine actually. These are still really good. And again, another thing here is that the aftermarket one fails, so you know, keep in mind for that, you guys. And you could see based on your valve cover, okay, that this is where it's been leaking. See where it's dirty here? And usually around the cam area. Let it focus there. There you go. It's been leaking around those little U parts. See where it's like dirty right there? Those are the parts that are really vulnerable to leaks. I'm surprised this side didn't leak, which is on the passenger side. But yeah, and if you have a dirty valve cover, now's the time to clean it too if you want to, or you could just simply wipe it down. Again, this is fairly easy to do. And then you go back over here, take off your valve cover gasket, your old one, you simply lift it out, and you're gonna want to clean all that area right there where it's been sitting, especially since, see these areas right here where there's some old gasket maker? That is the area where it's really vulnerable to start leaking, so you want to clean those out really well. Alright. Alright guys, so now I have it all cleaned out. Cleaned up everything here. Again, you want to focus on the little cams. Looks like the last owner that did this put a lot of gasket maker, so just make sure you clean it up. And again, I would reapply on the vulnerable areas, like where it hooks on. But with my experience in the past, as long as you're using an OEM seal, it should be pretty good. But you just put a little dab of it, and then that should be fine. So I already cleaned this out. You wanna be specific on the back areas, because again, this engine's slanted, so the tendency of the oil spilling over is greater. Okay, yeah. Now going over here, This is the old gasket, and you know, again, I was telling you guys, when I got this car, it had about 150,000 miles. And you know, I decided to go ahead and change the valve cover gasket, and I used an off-brand that I got from eBay, and it was about $2 cheaper than the original one. And it ended up leaking on me, and I ended up putting the old one back on, and it held for what, another 50,000 miles. So here's another original one that I bought. So you can see the similarities here. And the thing that I like about the OEM ones, it has these, see if I can focus there, it has these little groove, not groove, but like a protruding extra sealant. So when you tighten up the valve cover, what happens is that it presses against it, and it kind of spreads, and it seals it really well. And at the same time, there's these ridges right here, so when you go and put the valve cover on, it doesn't fall off. And then here's my valve cover. I cleaned all the grooves right here. Okay, I cleaned all of them, make sure they're all clean. So mine's fairly clean. And I'm gonna go ahead and install the valve cover gasket on it. Alright guys, here it is right here. I already put it on. Now, one thing what you want to do is make sure around these areas, you just kind of press them in like this. And you go around the whole entire valve cover just by doing this. Okay, when you get to these hook parts, you want to press it right here. Right here. And then you simply let the cam mold on itself. Because again, your vulnerable areas of leaking are right here. Okay, but we're going to put a dab of silicone gasket maker. Sorry, not silicone, gasket maker on it. So that it could, an extra protector, but you don't want to put a lot. Okay, so there it is right there. It's been placed, and I'll show you how to put the gasket maker. Alright guys, I know that there's a lot of different brands, a lot of different colors, but this is what I use. High temp RTV silicone gasket maker, and it says sensor safe. I used this on my Mercedes, and until now it has not leaked. As a matter of fact, the valve cover gasket leaked before the gasket maker even leaked. So for me, this works great. Okay, there's the brand. You can use whatever you want. Again, there's a gray, a black, and an orange one. I use this one because it's high temp, and Japanese engines tend to run hot. And again, I use this on my Mercedes, and it worked great. So there you have it. And this is not an endorsement. I'm not promoting them. I'm just simply telling you what I use. There you go, guys. That's all I did. Right in the corners right there. I simply just put a little bit right on the area where the seams meet for the cams. You're going to do that to all four sides. Front and back. Front and back. Right here, and you should be fine. Alright guys, so this is how I did it. Again, just in the bottom part. There you go, just in the crack. That's all I did. And you know what, again, I'm actually even skeptical of doing this because I know that the original seals, the OEM seals, don't have issues, hardly ever have issues. So there you go, just wipe off any excess and you should be fine. Alright, so now that I've done this, I got to get to that silicone ASAP. I mean, it's not going to dry like within minutes. So I'm just going to go ahead and flip this over. And I'm going to go and install my grommets. Those are my old ones. These are my new ones. Again, here's the part number. This is how they gave it to me at Toyota. So there you go. There it is again. 90648030029, I believe. And it's a 4-cylinder, so there's 4. So all you gotta do is clean this area up really well, and you should be fine. I just simply wipe it. So there you go. I just cleaned it out, wiped it down, and you simply get your new grommets. Here it is. Just set them down. Again, you want to make sure there's no debris, just for the sake of you know, getting oil to start leaking there on the sides. And these should just go flushed in. There you go. That's what the new grommets put on. And don't be surprised if it's loose. I mean, like I said, it just simply goes on top of it. And when you put these lock nuts on there, it's the one that's gonna hold it down. Okay, so it's time to put the valve cover back on, and then we'll go from there. All right, guys. So it's put back on, and I'm ready to put the lock nuts on there. But what you want to do is make sure to inspect that the valve cover gasket did not come off the valve cover when you installed it. Again, this is one thing that's really good with the OEM because it sticks to the valve cover, so when you flip it over, when you face it down, I mean, to reinstall it, the valve cover gasket doesn't fall off. And that's exactly what you don't want to happen, because then it'll cause a kink and you're gonna have a leak. It's gonna be a big mess. Now it's time to put the lock nuts back on. Alright guys, here's a little tip. It's not super important, but you do wanna, if you can, don't make sure they're put back in the same order. Use the same lock nut that you use for whichever, because it already has a groove to it. And then the first thing you do is you kind of like just tighten it this way without so much force, just to kind of start having the gasket seat properly, you know, down. You're gonna be doing this until you cannot tighten it anymore, but you want to just hand tighten it. So I go from left to right, then I start to the right, I start turning. As you can see, I'm not putting a lot of exertion on it, and I don't even have a tool. You don't ever want to use a tool to lock this down. Okay, and then I just start skipping back and forth, because then what you're doing now is that since you replace the grommets are now being pressed down and creating its own seal. And in that process, you're gonna have to repeat these steps over and over again till you have it all hand tightened. But again, you want to be bouncing, alternating, so that it's evenly distributed as far as the tightness is concerned. Because you'll find yourself, like, as soon as you tighten this one will loosen up, that one will tighten, this one will loosen. So you want to bounce back and forth. And again, I'm just hand tightening this because the valve cover gasket does have play. So when you tighten it and you press it down, it'll create that really good seal. So just repeat the steps over and over again till you can't hand tighten. Again, do not use one of these, because you're gonna strip that and you're gonna have a big problem. Alright guys, so there you go. I just kept doing this, bouncing back and forth until I can't tighten it, holding it this way. Okay, and again, if anything, you want to just hand tighten it. Don't use a tool, but I do recommend using manufacturer's torque specifications. Again, this is my disclaimer. This is how I'm doing it, and I've done it before and it worked for me. Okay, now it's time to remove the old grommet. Actually should have done that when the valve cover was off, but I'm going to go ahead and remove the old grommet for the PCV valve. Here is the PCV valve assembly, and when you buy it, it should come with a grommet. There's the grommet. Here's the new PCV valve, and that is the part number 12204-74030. Hurry, write it down, hurry. So to remove the grommet, I just get these pliers, and just be careful not to rip it. So do it a little slow. See, I just ripped it. Oh my gosh. Again, you want to be careful not to rip it because you don't want to get the debris to fall in there. So I'm going to go ahead and take this out. I'm going to get off the camera so then I don't mess it up. Alright guys, so it ended up falling in, but what I did was that I just fished it out with some needle nose pliers, and I was able to pull it out. Thank God. There you go. So it's good to take this off when the valve cover is off, but of course, I'm human. I make mistakes, and there it is. But needless to say, I got it out anyway. So you get the new one. Oh, we want to clean that up first. Simply clean it out. Just clean it out real quick. Okay. You get the new grommet. Make sure it's OEM. Just put it back. Put it in there. Pop it in. Now, when you put the new PCV valve there, it shouldn't leak out here anymore like it should. See, it's not more like it's leaking, but remember the air. This is a vacuum, so you want to trap the air and get a full vacuum there, because the PCV valve does a huge job on the motor. Next step, you get some dielectric grease. Mine's all messed up, and all you do is you simply put a little bit in this hole. Okay, and what that will do is that it'll prevent these boots from getting stuck, so the next time you pull it out, then you're good to go. I would suggest that you change your spark plugs at this point, but I put what's that called, laser iridium plugs in this, the one that's even higher than the original one, so it's good for 100,000 miles, and I only have 40 on it, so I'm not gonna change that now. But yeah, you just put a little bit of white lithium grease, dielectric grease, and you're good to go. Again, this is not an endorsement. This is basically what I use to do it. And once you're done with that, you can simply put it on. There it is right there. But I can't forget my PCV valve. Now listen to this. Oh shoot. There it is right there. This is the new one. And I'm simply gonna put it here. Make sure you align it with how the notch is right here to the notch over there, and you reattach the hose there. Gosh, I'm being so clumsy. Alright guys, so there it is. I've already installed the new PCV valve. One thing I'm going to advise you guys on is when you push this down, do it in like a wiggling motion, because you don't want to push the grommet into the valve cover. You guys will know what I'm talking about when you do the job. And then you simply reattach the hose and clamp them back on, and you're good to go on that part. There it is right there. And then now, oh my gosh, why did I even do that? You simply reinstall your spark plug boots. And the original ones are labeled 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you just, and the length, again, you guys, the length will totally show you that it's the right one for the right boot. Okay, just take those extra precautions. You don't want to mix them up, because if you mix them up, your car's not going to start, plain and simple. But yeah, on the older models, the older cars way back when, the spark plug wires were pretty confusing because of the whole distributor factor. But on these newer cars, it's pretty self-explanatory. Anyone could pretty much take it apart and not get confused. And again, since I did this job already, I went ahead and changed my oil, because it was due anyway. And there, just make sure you put the wires back, clip them back on, and that part is done. Okay, make sure it's pressed in. You're set. Now it's time for me to change my oil filter, and that's about it. But anyway guys, I'm gonna end this video right here. That's how you change the valve cover gasket on this car. Shouldn't take you more than 40 minutes, I would say. And again, I'm gonna go ahead and end it here, because I'm gonna finish up the job. If you want to know how to change your oil or your brakes on this car, or the engine mount, everything I've done in this car, I'm gonna go ahead and link it down below in the description. This is a family channel, and if you guys aren't subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe now, and you'll be helping my channel grow. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please give it a like, thumbs up, comment down below. Oh, look at that. And don't forget to put that back on. There you go. Luckily on this car, there's only like a few to remove. Alright, so anyway, you guys get the gist of things. I need my both hands to get, oh, there we go. Gotta put that clamp back on too. Anyway guys, again, please subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you.